All right, we have a double feature today. We're starting with me and 66, and we're going to be talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the fourth movie
The fourth.
of the new ones. I didn't even add it up. It's got to be number like 9 or 10. But this kind of started a new trilogy, and we're going to talk about that right away. Up next on the Entertainment Jungle. Did you count? I didn't. I didn't. All right. So I'm gonna jump right into this because we're gonna talk about oh look, my guy, he's all messed up. Hold on, let's fix my face for a second.
You right there? You look like you're about to sneeze, pal. God bless you. Yeah, that's all right. Cornelius is taking a brief. I'll be back, is what he said. There he is.
All right. So let's start off with, as always, the IMDb description, which we'll start off with my first kind of I don't want to say gripe, but the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Many years. That's a very specific amount of time. Remember that. Many years after the reign of Caesar, a young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past and make choices that will define a future for apes and humans alike.
Well,
That's actually what happened, right? In this one?
I think so. Many years was. It said many generations, I believe, in the very opening of the movie.
Correct.
So
yes, it did say that.
many years was many tens of years, really.
I mean, all right. So it starts off with you didn't have to know anything about the other movies because this one was basically its own story. If you think about it, I mean, it starts with well, let me get your overall thoughts first, like we usually do, and then I'll get into some of my issues. What did you think of this Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
I have two initial thoughts. I don't want to go overall, but my two initial thoughts were I wrote down very early. Probably the first thing I wrote down in my notes was I loved that this is starting a new saga in this Planet of the Apes series because most movie series would just would just continue on and try to milk the old characters for what it's worth. It was really nice to see Maurice for a second in the opening when they had the funeral for Caesar. And I thought Cornelius would have been the next big guy, like Caesar's son, Cornelius. I thought he would have been the next ape to take over and lead, and it would have been his struggles. But they went way far out to a point where I don't even know if any of these are descendants of Caesar at this point. I mean, I don't recall even the king, the self-proclaimed king. I forget what they called him, the Caesar of this movie.
Yes.
Which, spoiler alert, turns out to be the bad guy. But I don't even think he's really Caesar. I think he just is a self-proclaimed ruler of apes, right? So.
Proximus, right? The guy who's Proximus. He called himself
Caesar.
Proximus Caesar. So there's that. Yeah.
So that was my first thought. And the second thought is I actually really loved the opening when they're climbing and they're getting learning about that ape culture with the birds and the eggs, and they find the human. They don't even know what the human's called anymore. They call them echoes or something.
Echo. Yep.
Yeah. So I actually loved that part. And then we'll get into more later, but
we may be on the same page. So let me.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with
you.
When it started and it was like many generations and it's gonna be new, I was like, okay, I'm on board. And then they were like teasing you where they couldn't speak. They were doing like the sign language in that tree scene, which was kind of cool. And I was like, okay. And then they started speaking. And then as soon as they got down from the trees, that's when I got like a little angry, because
really, even like you're talking about right when they got down and the blanket was stolen by the girl, that's when you got angry.
I got angry when they weren't as advanced as I was hoping they'd be at this point. That's kind of where not angry. That's the wrong word. But
That's fair.
so I was like, okay, we have these 3 movies and we can talk slightly about them, but it was what happened, how the initial thing happened, the growth of it, and then like the anger, and then what was going to be like kind of the end. So then I assumed this movie, I don't have my finger quotes yet, but many generations in the future, the apes would be a lot smarter and more sophisticated and closer to the original movie. And that's what I thought we were going to get. And we were getting close to that. Like, they had so many iconic stuff. They had like when they were tied up and they were walking on the sand, that's how they like tied up, Charlton Heston and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But one of my biggest
you're talking, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but that you're talking about, they weren't as advanced in the bird, like the eagle people weren't as advanced.
Correct. Oh, yes.
But you learn that that's just a group of apes that is completely separated. They don't even know the history of Caesar. They don't even know it to a point where they think Caesar is bad because of these other apes that are self-proclaimed Caesar followers that are actually kind of advanced. They have technology. They have those stun rods, and they're trying to get into that, hold with all the advanced technology. So
you said it better. I do agree. I thought this was a outside, like a civilization, like in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when they came to fight, my one note was, well, they're supposed to be smarter than humans, but they still fight each other, which is what humans do.
That's true, man. It's true.
Which was, I was kind of like, all right. But yes, I'm sorry. You actually said it a little better. I wasn't mad until I found out that, like, and then actually seeing what's on our TV right here, they had this girl who was a good character, right? She was a good character, but then she's talking and she's smart, and then she meets another guy who's smart, and then spoiler alert, at the end, there's a whole bunch of humans that are still fine. Like, sorry, I'll let you interject in a second, but nothing happened in this movie to advance the world. Does that make sense? In my opinion,
I don't disagree with you.
Me, so,
well, I suppose. Look, it's a movie. It's a sci-fi movie. So, I agree with you. I expected the kingdom of the Planet of the Apes to be,
yes,
you are ruling countries worth of land. And when they got, I was okay with it until they got to the Proximus Caesar area, which was just
yes, I'll say
it was kind of like a large city, where the center was a boat on the shore. It just didn't seem like a kingdom at that point. I don't know. I agree with you.
Mean, that was the other thing. Like, this kingdom was like a beach shanty town.
It's just a beach town, dude.
So it wasn't even like it was a big, it wasn't even like it was a big kingdom. So I had a lot of, maybe I'm taking it a little far, but I even wrote in my notes, I'm not going to see another one until you can promise me it connects. That's where my problem is. And we've had this problem before. Like, even me. First of all, I don't know if Ryan the Lion's listening yet, but he would have hated this movie, I think, because of what we talked about earlier. But I have a problem with, I like the original. I watched the original. So in my mind, I assume we're going to eventually connect. Unless I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong. I don't think this is going to connect ever. The way this is going with the humans that are basically mute, dumb.
Yeah.
They're basically like apes, and the apes are like humans. The way this is going with, there's a handful. Well, let's put it this way. First of all, this virus kills off almost all the humans, and like, let's say about 10% live, but they can't speak anymore. There's the virus spreads, and now there's maybe like 10% of the human. I'm making that up. I don't know. They're left and they can't speak. But now there's a small percentage of that 10%, let's say 10% of 10%, that are actually immune to the virus and can speak and can think. I'm okay with this concept. I am. It's
Okay.
not, but it's not going to lead to the OG. Like it's definitely not. So you have to just be okay with that. With that said, I still think this movie was not as good as it could have been, and I
Mm.
think that I really wanted it to be.
Yeah. Now let me say this stuff. I will say because of who I am, I love. I mean the CGI, the motion cat, the apes. Like
Oh yeah,
if you told me, I mean that was incredible. The effects in this movie were amazing. So I'll give them props for that. Even the acting, like the people that were like in the motion capture, and then the young girl who was from The Witcher, I thought she was
mm.
really good. So I'm not saying that I hated all of the movie. It was just like it kind of dragged, and I have the problem that I want to connect, and
Yeah.
that's where I mean,
Well, the way we're talking, you're going to think that like I know that you didn't like it a lot. I actually did really like this, but I wanted more, especially at the end. And it seems like we're going to get more from the way that she stole that data drive, whatever it was, for her people. But I actually do have one of my biggest gripes is with May, the Echo, the Witcher girl. Uh,
The
you
Witcher.
know, it was super intriguing at first to me. She's like she can't speak. She's cold. She's hungry. She becomes
Yeah.
like really, but she literally played both apes, Noah and that Caesar enthusiast, the Maurice lookalike. I forget his name. No,
I
Nola or
actually did
Noka
like.
or Nika. I forget his
I
name.
liked his character.
Loved his character. Loved his
Raka.
character. Raka. Super upset
Yeah.
he's dead. Maybe he's alive with the voice at the
Yeah.
end. I don't know. Super
Yeah.
upset
Yeah.
he's gone. I hope he's not. But I was like, this girl May played them,
Oh, the
acting
whole time.
the whole time, and not
I
just
know.
because at the end she like betrays them. No, that's fine. Like I get it. You have to go on for your humans, and I get it. I think the apes would have done the same thing, but dude, she pretended to be like super attached to these apes, pulling on their heartstrings through that whole battle with the Proximus Caesarites in the
Yeah.
grass and the river. And I was like, man, this little girl, like, she's really connecting with these apes, and that's really amazing. And then she just turned out to be a snake.
Yeah, I mean, even like if you want to think of like when a character learns a lesson, this Noah will like is he gonna take that and be against all the humans, or is he gonna listen to like rock? Like I am curious because where it's gonna go. Obviously, if we want to talk about it made money, and we'll get to our ratings in a second, but yeah, what's gonna happen? Maybe you're right. Maybe I keep harping on the original, but yeah, she kind of was. Could you say she was like part of she's almost a villain. Almost.
I think exactly, but I think what they were trying, in my opinion, what they were trying to go for was how Caesar in the original with James Franco, that connection, right? And then even later on with the other guy in the second movie, I think they were really trying to go with there's one of these apes really still believes in humanity. And I think that's what they were trying to do with this because but then he sees that book, the ABC book with the apes in cages, and I don't know, man.
I know, because even in the original, they had oh my god, I'm completely blanking on her name, but like the one who was always helping the humans, like don't treat them like this, and then she was the scientist.
Yeah.
I forget her name, but yeah, it kind of went a little bit too far for me, but I still think it could be saved. It still keeps bringing me back. I don't know what it is. Like I keep watching them all. I keep trying. So
Yeah.
I give them that. But
Looks
I
like
don't know.
Are you about to cry again? Don't cry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm really sad
You're
about this
really upset
movie.
about this movie. That's fine.
I will let you know that, like all the others, this one got pretty decent ratings. So we have IMDb at a 7.3 out of 10. The crit
Okay.
81%, and the audience is
That's fair.
9%. So it's like it's another character driven movie with cool effects, which I guess is what people are looking for. Maybe I would
Yeah.
something else, I guess.
I think that at this point we're looking for world building, and because we had that original three, the the Dawn, Rise, and War or whatever, well, those movies with Caesar, and they were so character driven, and like you
Yeah.
get so attached to the apes and the humans, and you man, like it's emotional,
Yeah.
man, and yeah, the story's there, but um, in this one, I think that the majority of the fans of Planet of the Apes is looking for world building, and it gave us more character development. Which, hey, if it worked in the past, why wouldn't you do it again in the future, right? Like, so I can't blame
True.
them for doing with the same formula. I can't blame them for doing it, but I want more at this point, and I hope the next movie builds in this world with the Eagle people, and they branch out and they learn the truth about Caesar, and they build their own kingdom or whatever's next, because
Yeah.
this is going to end up being a war between apes and humans again. You can tell that's where this is going.
Yeah.
I did like that the Eagles came back at the end. You knew it was going to happen. You knew he was going
Yeah.
to come full circle and become one with his past and his dad.
Hmm.
I For my rating, I had the first Planet of the Apes at a 9.5, the second one at a 9, and the third one at an 8.5. This one, unfortunately, was just a little bit lower. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I'm going 7.5.
Oh, it's still pretty high.
I did enjoy. I walked out of the movie still happy and enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
a little disappointed. It's
All
kind of
right.
like it's kind of like how I felt after The Dark Knight Rises, because The
Uh,
Dark Knight was so good, like 10 out of
all right.
10, and then
All
Dark
right.
Knight Rises was like, yeah, it was good, but
Well, I'm a little lower, but I know you're right. If I take out the fact that this is never going to connect, then it was a better movie than I said it was. Even though nothing, I don't want to say nothing happened. Like, maybe he did have that adventure, but he comes back full circle. So it's kind of like a full circle moment. But I'll go as far as giving it like 6 bananas out of 10, because
that's fair.
it was visually really cool and there were some moments I
Beautiful.
liked. And
Beautiful.
I didn't like hate it, but I didn't like it compared to what I thought it was going to be, which I think you're at the same boat. So
Yeah.
uh, I'll
Don't
go
call
with
it Kingdom.
a little below it. Yeah, don't call it Kingdom. And I'll even end with, don't even call it Planet of the Apes. Just call it another, like, make up another title. Because that also, it happens in a lot of movies nowadays where they use the title to draw you in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem.
Worked for me.
So yeah. All right, well, stay tuned. We're gonna get some other people into the jungle here, and we will be right back. Give us a couple minutes. We have another one to talk about that is drastically
Way
different
different.
than this movie. So
You won't want to miss that.
it's gonna be fun.
I did.
All right, we're back with our second movie of our double review. We already talked about Planet of the Apes, and now we're going to talk about Anyone But You, a completely different movie, a romantic comedy. Yeah, I know, Walter, in your quote hands. This is gonna come up with a lot of questions about the new status of romantic comedies, but it's Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. It's up on Netflix right now, but let's talk about it up next on the second half of the entertainment. Do you not consider this a romantic comedy?
Is it coming through on Rendezvous?
Yeah. Can you not hear me? Go. Oh. All right. Let's start off with the IMDb description of this one. And this is loosely based on Much Ado About Nothing, the Shakespeare play. And I mean, loosely is a good word. But according to IMDb, this movie is after an amazing first date, Bea and Ben's fiery attraction turns ice cold until they find themselves unexpectedly reunited at a wedding in Australia. So they do what any two mature adults would do, pretend to be a couple. So, I mean, all right. that's what it's about, right? So let's get some overall thoughts on this one. I want to start with 66.
Yes.
It may be the only thing he says to us.
This is it. This is it right here. So I watched 25 minutes of this movie, and that's only because I rewatched the first 5 minutes twice since my wife. I watched 5 minutes of this movie and I shut it off. And then my wife was like, I want to see this movie. I said, all right, let's give it a go. We watched 20 minutes. And after that club scene, even she wanted to. She's like, do we have to watch this? I'm like, no, turn it off.
I think that's crazy that even
And
she said that.
Man, that is
She
crazy.
loves rom-coms. She loves Hallmark movies. And even she said this is worse than the worst Hallmark movie she's watched. It is garbage. This is terrible.
Wow.
There's not even plot holes. There are direction holes. This director didn't even know that you can't hear someone across the club when you don't see their mouth move because they're facing the wrong way. This is the worst of the worst movies I've ever seen. She's in that bathroom trying to dry her pants that would take 30 minutes, and she did it in 2. This is garbage. It's garbage. And I can't believe you guys actually sat through this movie. I can't wait to hear what you guys say about it. I'm very excited to hear your overall thoughts because, damn.
All right, well, so he told us what he really thought. I'm actually surprised, and I'm going to bring it up in a minute, why I'm surprised that you kind of felt this way. But let's keep going. I'm going to go with, I don't even know who to go next. We'll go with Walter. Oh,
We'll go with not Walter.
Only because of glorifying a raving review. I thought this movie was going to be so horrible. Honestly, I didn't think that. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't good, but it wasn't that. It was very odd to watch Bizarro, Pierce Brosnan, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, Dave Franco, and Gal Gadot in the Bizarro world doing this wannabe rom-com. It wasn't that good, but it's nowhere near as bad as 67.
I mean, honestly, when 66 told us how bad it was, it made me want to watch it a little more. So just FYI,
Exactly.
that helps sometimes. Go ahead, Ryan. What do you got?
Man, I think I am the most forgiving of rom-coms in this group because I thought it was perfectly fine. I thought that the actors did a decent job. I thought that the plot wasn't anything special, but the general outline was good enough, and I thought that they were charming. It was one of those ones where they were pretty annoying at first, but then as the movie went on, like they like explained their like background, is like here's why I'm this way. It's like yeah, that works. I had no issues with most of it really.
I got so much pushback on almost everything you just said there.
I
Go
have to,
ahead.
can I
Cornelius.
interject? I have to ask Ryan the line of question.
Yeah.
You said the plot was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
the girl from what I saw, the girl walks out. The girl walks out of the apartment after they had a night of not sleeping together, just talking, and she realizes she made a mistake, and he's got mommy issues because of the rent she got, and
Yep.
she comes back to hear him over talking about how she's the worst kind of human.
Yeah.
He had no reason to do that. There's no reason for him to talk that negatively about a human being because his best friend that's in that, he's being supportive. He's like, oh man, you found a girl? That's really amazing. I'm really supportive of this. Thank God. Yo, that's even the explanation that he had mommy issues, that's garbage.
Wait.
I could already tell you it's garbage.
I wanted to tell you one of my gripes is like 30 minutes in, they still think that interaction happened.
Yeah.
Like 30, 45 minutes in. One of my biggest things was like, wouldn't at this point someone have explained the miscommunication or at least tried to? That was kind of one of the things.
Or
that
have the
just kept
door
going.
closed when you walk into someone's house. Just a thought.
I knew
that
door
would have
was
solved
gonna be an
everything.
issue for you.
It is.
I was like, someone's gonna be mad that they left the door open. I don't care. Like
The
it's fine,
fact that the
'cause
friend walked in
it actually
2
didn't-
seconds
'cause
later.
it didn't even have to be open. Like she could have opened it, and the same thing could have happened. Like I don't know. I mean, but I just none of that really
So-
mattered for this. Like I
What's-
guess for me, like this movie, it wasn't about.
Oh, and
What?
Oh,
He's just breaking up.
Walter's
Walter's
internet's breaking
trying
up.
to-
No.
Oh.
all I said was yes, it does. You
Oh,
can't hear me?
we can. Yeah.
Ugh.
I have something that. Well, before we get specifics into this movie, I do have something 66 maybe can talk about. Okay. And this happened in another Netflix movie. Well, this was a Sony movie, but a Netflix movie that I watched, which was called Mother the Bride. So I can't believe you had so many gripes with it because, in my opinion, nothing overly outrageous happened in this movie. Like, there was a couple moments where, a firework went off and like there's like a weird bug and he took his clothes. Like some of the stuff was weird, but I'm thinking of like the movie you really hated, like Desperados and stuff. There was no dolphin penis in this. Like there was an animal, but in these kind of movies, like the koala would have stole the engagement ring and they would have to chase him around and shit like that. So I don't want to say this was like more grounded, but that's the word I'm going to use. So this was kind of more grounded, and I feel like that's the way these rom-coms are going, which is kind of surprising why you didn't like it. Does that
No, I
Make
agree
sense?
that it was. I mean, the main gripe I would say is like poor communication on steroids. Like it was just like, oh yeah, like it is unlikely that people would be this incapable of communicating with one another and still like function in the world. But aside from that, they were just regular morons. Yeah.
But
The characters were not likable. The main characters were the problem of this movie. The supporting cast was great. Like I liked everyone, the interactions, the acting, everything. There was no reason why you would like either of these characters. She's a deadbeat dropout who surprisingly had enough money to survive on her own without a job and able to go to this crazy place for the wedding. I don't know what he is, but he's supposed to be a douchebag, which kind of is, but kind of not. It's like, I don't know. They were just so bad. Like there was, you can't even root for them. And it was so stupid. Unnecessary nudity. they're putting hands down their pants for what reason? You know, the
It made no
let me
sense.
use you to try to get with my ex. Like, get this, talk to each other.
But
This was so
well,
bad. I not about it. I'm actually hating it more, and I'm with 66.
Oh,
I don't
man.
so I mean, I think they even explained like why B was such an like aimless in her life, because essentially she had trained to be a gymnast, that didn't pan out, and now she's just trying to figure out what else to do. Like I think that's probably pretty normal for people that
Welcome
try
to
really
every
hard.
single human ever.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She's just like anyone else.
But-
like it didn't seem like that. I mean, she seemed like but she's super hot. So like, of course, you're gonna forgive her for like not figuring life out, but still being like a 10.
And not
Yeah,
a
well-
great actress.
I wish. How about this? I wish 66 stayed long enough for this part of the like. In the beginning, I was confused. Like, why is she so unsure about dating? Right? Like they. She's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should call him. But
Oh,
she was really, and she was like that the whole time. And then we find out it's because she broke up with her boyfriend recently. Fine,
Who she
That's
had been
fine. But then-
dating like her entire life, basically. Like she did one.
Correct.
guy.
which is fine. And I even put a caveat, like, okay, I know why this happened. This is what happened.
Yeah.
But then my problem was all of a sudden, when they decided to be a couple and like really get into it, she knew everything about relationships. She's like, this is what'll happen if I do this, and this is what'll happen if you touch me and we hug. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like 10 minutes ago, you had no idea how relationships worked because you've only had one, but now all of a sudden she knew everything. I was kind of a little bit like, that's a little 180 for me.
The fact that she didn't want to commit or she left and all of that and came back, that wasn't even the problem for me. It was just, and I get it. You have to put yourself into situations that make this a comedy when these romantic ties are involved to make it a rom-com. I get it. But it's just so outlandish and ridiculous and stupid that she would come back and, well, first of all, that the friend would come back like 2 seconds after she left. Like she left in the morning and was like, oh, I'm going to sneak out. He wakes up and sees her. And 2 seconds later, his friend walks in. Oh, that's just a great coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just,
but again, like I don't know what else
I get it. It's
what are they gonna
movie.
do?
I
Like
know. I just,
just
it's
be like 2 hours later. Like I mean, it's just like,
Some of that stuff you have to forgive. Yeah.
Like you have to forgive that, otherwise you can't make. A
I
movie.
can't do it. Can't
I
forgive
do have a question about the people. Well, for the people that watch, what did you really think of the chemistry between them two? Because that's what, like, I think Walter alluded to it, that the supporting cast was better. Like these two, I don't know. It was awkward. I think that's what it was. It was a little awkward for me.
That's the whole thing. Awkward
But
and
I thought
forced,
the awkwardness was the point. Like the point is like both of them,
which
are...
is not a.
What?
Poor
I
Walter.
didn't say anything.
Oh, we
Yeah.
Poor
cut off.
Walter.
Oh, we stopped.
I didn't
talking.
say.
Poor Walter.
I didn't say anything.
What?
Oh,
Of
stupid
course,
internet.
I didn't
say
watch
anything.
it, and my internet's fine.
But I would
Yeah.
say that the awkwardness, kind of makes sense because they are both kind of secretly in love with each other, but not willing to admit it. So you would be pretty awkward around that person like that. But they also like there are some moments where it's like, oh, they're kind of cute there, but then other times it's like, oh, that was terrible. But I mean, I thought it was intentional.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it probably was intentional.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was a little awkward. So
Oh, it was definitely awkward. But I thought, again, I thought that was kind of the point. Like, especially like they were behaving like, and we kind of get the sense that Glenn Powell, like his character, is like a successful womanizer. So it's with this girl, he's awkward because he actually has feelings for her, which is even weirder for him because he's usually Mr. Smooth. So it almost came like Hitch, like you remember Hitch, like that Will Smith movie, where like he could get like every girl, no problem, teach how to get girls. But every time Eva Mendes was around, he was just a useless, like awkward terrible version of himself. So that was kind of the way I looked at it. Like he was kind of doing like that kind of,
But
where he was like awkward to the point
But
where
you're-
almost impossible.
you're
Now I can't.
Kind
first off, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
It's a name brand cereal with the store brand cereal. Hitches
Nah.
We don't
Nah.
have
is obviously the name brand. Like,
We're
Ah.
hearing like every other word.
it. Yeah.
I heard name brand cereal.
Uh,
I don't know what to do.
Man.
Can't do
Maybe
anything
it's
about the
just
internet.
rom-coms that I can't stand.
it
I-
clearly,
I'm-
like
I'm-
you hold rom-coms just such a standard that I forgive rom-coms for almost everything. As
Okay,
long
but-
as there's like some like charm, like some like cuteness, kind of. Because I'm like, isn't that the whole point? Like the whole point is just have like some charm and cuteness. Like nothing else about them really
Yeah.
matters.
I'm going through like
I agree.
all of the top rom-coms right now online, and I'm trying to find one that I liked, and like something's got to give. Okay, I like
Like, I
that
feel like
one.
I
50
I
First Dates, cool. I don't know. This is just
What about how about this? The director of this, I believe, he directed Easy A with Emma Stone,
I like that.
which was I like that one. And I'm pretty sure one of the ones that came out at the same time. I want to say it was Friends with Benefits
Oh,
that came out the same time
Friends
as
with benefits and no strings attached.
No Strings Attached. That was the other one.
I
Yeah,
prefer.
I'm pretty sure he did Friends with Benefits with
Oh, nice.
Justin Timberlake and
Yeah.
Mila Kunis,
I like that.
which
one.
I also liked. I like that
Yeah.
one too. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm
And
trying to
I'm-
think. I obviously didn't have as much
It's
of
not the
problem
writing. It's not the writing. Me either.
or the
It-
directing. It's the actors.
it's the actors. I didn't like the
I think it was
actors.
the
I
writing,
didn't
the
like
directors,
the two
and
main
the
characters
acting.
where they're acting. It didn't work. It was different. Can you guys just go away? Let the other
Oh,
two
man.
get married and let's.
We need Walter's
I think
internet
I
to
get this.
go away.
I
What
know.
you're saying.
I think I understand what you're talking about.
I think
We're
he's
making
saying,
the-
like,
we're
he
making the
hated
best of this.
two
No, you
main
don't.
actors, but he likes the supporting cast, and I think the rest of the story actually just not what was going on with the two main characters.
Yes.
Yes.
Ryan the Lion, you're a freaking god right now. King of the jungle, baby.
You
King of the
figured
jungle.
it out.
Yes.
Actually,
love
it.
I can see where you're coming from. Like I get it because I don't know. I got nothing against them individually, but maybe I don't know. Like they're not Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis, so like maybe that's part of the difference. But I'm kind of smack in the middle. I'm in the middle of like I agree with Ryan a lot, and I forgave a lot of this, but for some reason a lot of it just didn't click. I don't know that maybe I don't know why it could have just been one of those movies for me, but that's kind of where I was at. Like,
Yeah, I think it was tough because the two main characters were not particularly likable for a long stretch, like throughout.
Maybe
the
that,
movie.
yeah.
Like it wasn't until I feel like closer to the end where they started to actually like acknowledge their feelings for each other, where they started to be more bearable. But throughout the movie, I thought the supporting cast was like where a lot of the charm and cuteness was coming from. So like I felt like it was still there, even though the two main characters were just like kind of, they may have gone a little overboard with like how at each other's throats they were, where like it was like, oh, there's almost nothing here until later on when they start to open up to each other.
that was I'm okay with everything you said. I'm okay with them being awkward at the right times and being mad at the right times. And I was like I said it when I opened my comments here, like the miscommunication wasn't a big enough miscommunication in my opinion to last this long. that was kind of where I think my head was at. And then finally it went, and then they were like, they're like they finally started to slowly realize, which is what's gonna happen, and then they're
Exactly,
fine,
yep.
and you know what I mean. Like, I was like, all right, fine.
And it was, and I mean, they also had the. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I again like it all just kind of made sense to me, like how it was playing out. So I didn't have real issues. I was like, yeah, of course this is how this movie is going to play out. So like all that stuff, I kind of was like, yeah, I know what's gonna happen, and that's fine. And like I said, I think like
I gotta ask. So the miscommunication,
Yeah.
he was upset because she left without saying bye or giving her number. Bro, get over it, man. This happens
was
every
hurt.
day. It's
He was
not that
hurt.
deep.
Yeah.
It's not that deep. After one
Well,
day, fine. You
but-
see her again. You know what? Maybe
So-
she's into me. Whatever, dude. Get over it.
So the backstory that he provides is essentially like his mom had passed away, which was the
Every
person that he ever
woman
really
left
loved.
him.
And then so when she left, he was hurt and he didn't want to open himself up to like feeling that love and loss again. Which again,
It wasn't like his mom left him. His mom died. It's not like his mom walked out on him. Like,
but that
bro,
is why he
stop.
responded negatively. He
all
was
right,
hurt.
whatever.
But again,
So
I mean,
grow up.
that's-
How old is this guy? He looks like he's 35.
I believe
maybe
he is
42.
like 30 something. But
Okay.
I mean,
I mean,
Grow up, bro.
Yeah.
to say that like every character has to behave in the most logical way, then you'll never make any movie. Like
Alright,
people
fair.
exist to
But,
behave this way. They're very emotional and not the brightest.
Which they say in this movie.
Or she
They
could have
do.
been like,
It's a shame. Man.
I really wanted to hear Walter bash this a little bit.
are you?
Hey! Sorry, Walter. We love you, bro.
We'll have to
And
fix
frozen. Muted.
Um,
Gone.
I'm just,
Anyway, I still think that her situation was worse. He heard her, or sorry, she heard him saying, "Oh, she's this, that, and the other thing," and it was like I don't want to be with her. Okay,
But
that's a little bit,
she
but it was a
actually-
one night thing.
But she
It was a
actually
one night.
knew that what he had said was not true because he was like, "Oh, I couldn't get her out of here fast enough." When in reality, she left before he ever woke up. So that wasn't what happened, and she knew that.
Ah.
So,
Actually,
there.
you just proved my point that it was
actually,
really
yeah.
stupid.
no, I agree. I never said that these are very intelligent characters. I've been saying the whole time that they're kind of dumb. But that doesn't mean that that's not what those characters are. It's not like we were set up with a movie where they were like, listen, these are the two smartest people on the planet, and everything they do, it always makes sense. We were just giving two people that met while one was like, got water all over her pan, and one guy was trying to pick her up. Like, they didn't seem like rocket scientists.
I did mention in the beginning that if she really had to go pee that bad, she would have left the, or she would have peed her pants. I was like,
About how like peeing isn't weakness should have really alerted us right there that like maybe she's not the smartest. Like, I feel like they were telling us right off the bat, like, listen, these aren't the smartest characters, but like you'll learn to care for them.
yeah.
There was one thing that I liked about this movie.
Ooh, that was my next question, everybody. I can't wait to hear it. You only watched 20 minutes.
The guy's penis.
How did
The guy's
buff guy's penis.
What did you say?
The buff guy's penis. Come on.
Oh,
The one thing,
He didn't
no,
make
he
it
didn't
that
get
far.
that far.
the one thing I liked was the bathroom key was an espresso portafilter where they pour the espresso out of. I thought that was super clever because it's huge, so no one can steal it. It's super heavy and awkward, so you have to return it. That was my favorite thing about this movie. It's the only detail they got right.
The thing I
Like the
didn't like
movie.
about that was that the way she was holding it while washing her hands, which caused the issue with the pants. Is like, why don't you put the giant fucking thing down so you can wash your hands?
Yep. You stupid
again-
idiot.
I feel like they were setting her up like maybe she's not the brightest.
All right, that's fair. Because she certainly wasn't.
Just like those forced.
It did feel a bit forced. And that's the
It
other
did.
thing. That didn't have to be how the water sprayed on her. She could have just turned it on and like the faucet was broken and sprayed on her. Like they didn't have to have that giant, ridiculous thing cause which honestly, when a faucet is that powerful, you end up doing that immediately anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
There's no way to avoid it when like you don't expect a faucet to be like that. You go full blast, it sprays all over, and then you learn.
All right, I want to go over. Is there anything else that you liked? Anyone else? Throughout the movie? Was there anything that you liked about this movie? Did you or what was like the part that was really weird was like the fireworks incident? I didn't even think that was like that. Almost felt a little forced, but then like his Australian ex-girlfriend just puts it out with her dress.
Yeah, she
I was like, okay, that's what like Walter was mentioning. Like, there's some pointless rom-com scenes that like, you know, I'm like, all right, she was attractive, and they're like, all right, take your dress off. That's the.
I mean, I enjoyed most of the like how over the top the family was in like their little like ruses, like when the two people that's getting married is like, oh man, you guys won't believe what we heard about Ben, and he really cares about B. And then they like just lay down and B's like, hey, come look at this. And they're still just laying there still as though like maybe she's like a T-Rex and won't notice us if we don't move.
I bet Walter loved that. I'm hoping I bet he loved that part when they were fake telling the stories behind the bushes. We'll never know because his internet is freezing.
Intentionally bad, and so that I found that fun.
We'll never know because he's frozen with the weirdest expression on his face. He doesn't look happy.
Frozen expression doesn't look thrilled.
I'm also assuming he can hear everything that we're saying.
I also assume that. I feel like he's frustratedly listening and like wishing he could. Oh no, he left.
Yep.
Oh, he's gone. He just left. The best part is the rendezvous is still working, so he might be coming through on that side.
Oh man! Now everybody's gonna know we're just avatars.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh no!
No! I promise I'm a penguin. I'm a penguin.
When Walter comes back,
attention to the man behind the
computer.
I'm assuming you can't hear me now because
yes, maybe.
All right, we can hear you now.
It doesn't make any sense because I'm still using Rendezvous as
I know,
the primary source, so I don't get it. So everything I'm saying must be going through, and it's the Zoom that's
I believe that's correct.
Oh, so they could hear him and we just can't.
So yeah, because we're listening through Zoom and not through Rendezvous because it would give you an echo.
And that's what I kept saying. Can you hear me through Rendezvous?
No, because I have to it's a long story. Anyway, we talked about what we thought you hated. Did you hear us?
Yes, everything. I hate it all. I don't agree. No, again, the sporting cast was good. I enjoyed what they did, how they did.
I'll just pretend like I can hear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. I agree. Yeah. Oh. Good points.
Damn.
All right, so let's he'll come back. We all agree with him, but I want to make sure that everyone can see what the ratings are for this. I think it might be a little interesting.
0.01.
Well, not your rating of this, but so
I can't wait to see. I hope it's terrible.
So
I give it a chance.
IMDb 6.1 out of 10.
Shut up! Shut up!
Look at the audience score.
Stop,
dude.
53%,
and the audience is at an 87%. Listen, I'm not going to say it out loud, but I know why the audience is higher than other people.
Just
but
so you know, the audience.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Oh, even 50-50, my answer is still the same. Why that audience rating is higher. Women and men. So, well, you can give it. I guess he has to give it a 0. I mean, you could give it a 0.5. You made it 0.5 way. They say you should know the entire movie or what it's about within 20 minutes. Like when I was in screenwriting class and
100% knew what this movie was gonna be.
so you can, I guess, technically rate it, even though you don't know the ending. Although there was no surprise on what was going to happen at the end. So, go ahead, 66. How low can you go?
I'm going. I think this is the worst year, the worst season for us that I've ever read. Dude, Ryan, you used to say that I was so positive and I was so forgiving. And I don't know what happened, but just make a damn good movie because this is terrible. And I'm sick of watching stuff that's just bad. You're just making it to make money. You don't even care about film. You don't care about this. You don't care about movies. You're making this to make money. So stop. I'm sick of it. I'm just done. I'm sick of this garbage. I know that you lost money in COVID. Stop. I hate you. All of these scores are way too high. All of these scores are way too high. IMDb, critics should be at 23%. Audience should be the 61%. This is garbage. 0 point negative 10.
Do you want to know? You want to know the negative 10? All right, I'll give
Don't
you.
tell him. Don't tell him. You're gonna piss him off.
Oh, don't tell him what the.
How much money did it make?
All right. Well, the budget was only $25 million. Okay.
The budget was only $25 million.
The budget was only $25 million.
What did they spend it on? A wrench?
What are you talking about?
Obviously, not to
I
lead.
figured just
Not
the
the leads.
cast would cost $25 million, so probably nothing else.
So
You're right.
the opening weekend, it only made $6 million, which is fine. The opening weekend rom-com. This was in December. We waited for it. The U.S. gross was $88 million, but the worldwide gross was $219 million.
Oh man,
so
this is very.
So it made its money back. So as
it made $200 million.
Yeah, all over the world. So we're gonna try to get Walter's rating if we can hear him. I can do this, but it might echo. Go ahead. Oh man. Just type it and I'll relay it.
Type it in.
He just texted me. He said it was a 0.
No way.
5.
There was no way.
No.
Yeah. There's no way.
There's no way he went that low.
Yeah. No, that's what he said. I got it right here. Look, right here. Text. See? Look, right here.
Way.
I got it right here. Look, text 0.
0. A 5? Oh, okay.
Hear me through,
so he's
you
gonna
can hear me
forget
through
about this
Ronnie
movie.
V.
That's worse.
The worst rating he can give.
The worst rating he can
Oh,
give
look
is
at how
a
happy
5.
he is in that frozen. He's real proud of himself.
That's great.
What? Can we take a screenshot of that? Actually, great.
That should be his picture.
I'm gonna try.
Oh,
It went away before I could. Anyway, all right, let's finish this up, Ryan. I know it's not a 5 or a 0, but what do you got?
No, I mean, I thought this movie was perfectly fine. Like I was like, oh yeah, much ado about nothing. I kind of remember that story. I got the gist, and then like I was like, yeah, the supporting cast was super charming. I thought that they did enough to explain, like, yeah, this is why these characters behave this way. So cool, and yeah, really pretty. I would say enjoyable. I like not gonna go watch it again, but I had no real strong issues with it at all. So I'll go with what I'm gonna go 5.5 bananas.
I
I thought it was
guarantee
gonna be
that.
higher than that.
I thought it was gonna be higher.
5.5 and 6. You know, I'm gonna go 6. I'll go 6 bananas.
That's terrible. I hate you.
Did you go higher?
I had no real issues with it. Like again, like I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best movie. But there was also nothing in it that like deeply offended me. So I was like, this is fine. I chuckled.
I can't wait. When you watch the new Planet of the Apes movie, I guarantee
I'm
you're gonna
gonna be
have
so
so many issues. You'll be so
I'm
offended.
gonna have notebook upon notebook about like all of the
Right.
holes and like.
Right. Of course.
It's gonna be bad.
Meanwhile, this
I
garbage,
expect that
give it a
movie
6.
to be of a higher quality. Like this movie met my expectations of what I thought. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, but you're saying that this. Never mind.
So in my opinion, a movie has to exist in the confines of like what it set out to do, the expectations that it sets, the world that it sets up. Like if you set up a world, you tell me this is what this world is going to be, and then you deliver on that, then I'm like, great, you did what you set out to do, and I'm happy with that. If you set up a world or expectations and then you don't deliver, then I'm like, well, you didn't accomplish. So that's why, like, I can't always be like, every movie has to reach the same levels of greatness. They have to reach their own levels of greatness. Not every movie is setting out to do the same thing.
You're way too forgiving for rom-coms.
I also like rom-coms. I was actually going to bump it up just because of how much fun it is to talk about these movies with people that don't like them sometimes. So, but I forgave a lot, but there was I don't know. I just didn't click with me. Some of it was like awkward, and maybe it was the people. But I agree. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It was nothing special, but it was like fine. So 5.5. That's what I was at. So you went. I just let you go. I like. You enjoyed it way more. You had to be the highest rating, so there's no way I could go.
I mean, but the thing, like, I again,
but
like,
you didn't.
I'm never gonna rewatch it, so that's why I was like, I mean, it was enjoyable enough where like there was nothing in it that I was just like, oh my god, this is unbearable to me. Which clearly I.
It's exactly what Walter rated. What was it, like Rebel Moon or something? He was like, I didn't like it, but I liked it more than this, or something like that.
How
and
I felt, where I was like, there was I wouldn't be like, this is my favorite movie, but it definitely, I think, did more or less what it set out to do. I think that it was fine.
It set out to piss me off, and it succeeded.
Yo, man, I honestly have never seen him this mad. So
I don't know. The dolphin had him pretty.
The dolphin made him mad, but this one was pretty mad.
I would much sooner try to rewatch Desperados than ever again. Absolutely.
How could you hate this movie that much?
Mind blown.
That's crazy.
Hey, we can see Walter again.
Oh man!
Can you hear me?
We can hear
we
you.
can see.
I like how he's just there doing
you.
stuff, like assuming we can't see or hear him.
I had to switch over to my freaking mobile hotspot.
We can now. You're working great, actually.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Cornelius, when you go through Rendezvous, you're going to hear everything, me cursing, everything I'm saying.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go back and check it out. Well, oh man, this was a wild week. However,
Can I just?
no, yeah, let's hear.
No,
let's finish.
what's up?
Yes.
No, I just want to ask: can they ever make a rom-com where it's believable? Like, why did he got to go to these crazy, extravagant destination weddings? Do something a little more close to home, where like a middle class. Because it's kind of getting annoying to see these ones where they're like, "Oh, we're going to go to a place that you'll never get to go to in your life, ever."
Well, that's why it's a movie. I think we should we should all write a rom-com where they all go to like Delaware
Delco.
to save the taxes.
Something where it's believable. Like, okay, yeah.
I mean, you
I'll
always
let
got
my,
like Sweet Home Alabama.
I never
She's
true.
seen it.
down in Alabama, in her hometown.
She just showed back up at home. Yeah.
She was
There
living
are-
an extravagant life, and then went slumming back in Alabama. And that's
Wait,
where she
what
found
about
love.
just friends? Didn't they do? He
Just
went back
Friends.
home to like Canada,
went from his
right? Or-
extravagant life to, although they always do have like,
No, but it wasn't a wedding. It wasn't a wedding though.
oh, the wedding.
Both
of them
that's
wasn't
my
a
best
wedding,
friend's
right?
wedding.
I don't remember that one.
I don't think she had to go very far. I don't know that.
I don't remember. Well, next week, it's a movie that was in theaters, but it's now on Netflix. That I'm pretty sure no one saw that we have to watch before we
Oh.
sign off. Can anyone guess what it is?
Madam
It's
Web.
titled-
Fire, Madam Web.
Yep.
I
It's-
watched
Ah!
Oh, well, we have to. I haven't watched it yet. I might even watch it
it
tonight.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're.
There's no way we have to talk about it because I'm hoping.
I
Don't say
watched
anything.
it immediately when it came.
I
out.
know. I needed every time I heard a bad review, I was like, I want to watch it so bad. So don't get your hopes up, but that one might be great to talk about. I will.
What is this Sydney Sweeney thing? Back to back, really?
That's coincidence, but
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
yeah. Wait, what was the rating? I think 87%. Well, at least 80% wanted to see it. So,
That's why I said
we'll see.
that everyone that rated that was girls, because I knew what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Are we still
But-
online?
Yeah, we're still live, but we're gonna go. So, come back next week for the worst rated movie everybody else so far this year, and we'll wait and see what happens.
But it's probably gonna get a way higher rating than this did from 66.
I can't wait.
Maybe.
Can
All
we
right.
bet? Can we bet on that? Are you on Sportsbook?
We'll see what happens. So we'll see everyone next week.
Quack you next time.
Man, I've never seen you that mad. Like, it's crazy.
I
just-
believe you couldn't even like stomach it for more than 20 minutes.
It really.